He's the shove-it man, oh he's the shove-it man. He's gonna shove it, yeah, he's gonna shove it, man.
Alright, it's the master of the gut punch and the one who makes the cereal crunch. Back with another NWA TNA review. We've made it all the way to episode 67 now. Before we start, there's some big news for the channel coming very soon. Don't worry, it's nothing but good news, I'll share more about it when I can. But anyway, we've got 2 shows to review now. It's mainly all about the Hawks that are almost signing for TNA at the moment. This hype went on for about 4 shows, so what a waste of time that was back in 2003. Talking of Hawks, we start off this show with a memorial to Road Warrior Hawk who has just passed away. It cuts from that to a replay of Raven trying to end James Mitchell's life. Pretty awkward cut right there. We all know what Mitchell is on, but maybe the problem goes further than him. Anyway, the show actually starts and the music of Sunny, Don't Look at My Ass Siaki is blaring out. Now, then, forever. It's a 6-man tag with the Don't Look at My Ass crew taking on the Free Live crew. The Free Live crew have really weird music here. It's not their normal music, so not sure what happened. Siaki and Truth to start. Really weird start to this match. They're running everywhere like they've been hanging out with James Mitchell. Conrad and Legend square off. Conrad hits an overly dramatic facebuster. Truth connects with a leg drop to the nutsack. Umaga has the tag and he tries to slam Truth, which is reversed into a head scissors. Ekmo kicks up and floors him. He also hits a nice full Nelson slam. The heels are truly on top. Legend punched Truth in the head. When the match turns, Trinity tries to help out the heels, but instead she takes out Siaki. Road Dogg beats Siaki with the pump handle slam. The Don't Look at My Ass crew are directionless. In the back, Scott Hudson is banging on a mouldy door, and a wild Slapnuts appears.
Jeff Jarrett.
Scott says there's a big match tonight with AJ Styles and Slapnuts fighting for the title. Jarrett says he's taken out Russo and is excited to finally have his title shot after 4 months of Russo blocking it. Dusty walks up and talks about Hulk Hogan. Dusty says now the whole world is watching TNA. He vows to have Jarrett's back, but at the same time they call each other self-serving son of a bitches. Kid Cash out now, he's been impressive with his character work. He's a very hateable man. He's facing Sanjay Dutt, who recently debuted on the last episode for TNA. This should be fun. Cash calls him small, pretty sure Dutt is taller. It's a frantic start to the match, and as predicted it is a lot of fun. Sanjay wants to shake hands, I guess he doesn't know Kid Cash is a dick. They keep reversing each other until Sanjay drop kicks him out the ring and nails a springboard corkscrew dive onto Cash. Don West points out he didn't hit him cleanly. Cash fights back with a springboard into the ring for a 2. Cash locks him in a surfboard variation for like a second. Here comes a top rope dive from Cash, but he takes too long and massively overshoots his frog splash. Dutt hits a springboard back elbow and a crazy DDT out the corner. Dutt was really bringing the unique stuff back then. Dutt comes close to winning again. He gets Cash set up on the top rope, but the superplex is blocked and Jesus Christ, Sanjay Dutt is dead. That's the most obvious 3 of all time. Really nice spot match with a brutal finish.
NWA Impact brings you the Smack of the Week, sponsored by All New Blonde for Men. If you're a brown-haired Potter, put some blonde in it. It makes you look hotter.
Oh man, this guy, the notorious KID, what a dick, but what a wrestler, man. This guy's gonna be the future of the X Division, man. He's got Sanjay Dutt on the top rope, man. He's gonna goozle him, man. He's got him in his clutches. Oh man, he just dropped him like a log into the pisser, and I think he heard his kisser.
That was the NWA TNA Smack of the Week, sponsored by Blonde Just for Men. Get it? Got it? Shove it.
Cash continues beating on the dead body until the Monster Abyss waddles out. These two had a little falling out on the last episode. Cash manages to escape. Dutt tries to crawl up Abyss, but Sanjay soon learns that everybody in TNA is a dick as Abyss kills him for the 2nd time of his life. Sanjay must be a cat or something. In the back, the Don't Look at My Ass crew are trying to get through the mould door. Siaki says it's AJ Styles' locker room and he won't let him in. Siaki says it's in their interest that AJ Styles remains the heavyweight champion. It's a tag title match now for the ECW tag title. Sorry, I got that wrong. I just thought I was watching ECW for a second because it's Roadkill and Doring challenging for the New York Numpties titles. They're of course managed by the gifted Glenn Gilberti. How is he gifted? He has a tennis racket, which is presumably a shot at Jim Cornette. They're also hanging with the master of the cab driver slam, David Young. Doring connects with the panty drop leg drop, but that's just a 2. That's his finisher dead then. Basically, Doring and Roadkill have the match won multiple times, but the heels are cheating, which distracts everybody. Swinger hits the Roadkill with a tag belt, surprisingly just a 2. Roadkill nails a big side slam. Doring takes out the nerds on the outside and Roadkill also slams the Diamond Man. Roadkill is going to dive. He climbs to the top. No, he misses the splash. The New York Numpties win with a move they call the Problem Solver. No, the only problem we've got here is that we've got these guys as tag team champions. Another hype package now about Shane Douglas trying to find people to franchise. He makes boob jokes and promises that next week the new franchise will be revealed. He tells a mystery person that he needs to win the match tonight to impress Shane Douglas. We go from that to an X Division match, so it's obviously one of these three guys that Shane Douglas was talking to. Christopher Daniels, who seems to be missing his crackheads, takes on Chris Sabin and the champion Shawn Michaels' cousin. What dumbasses! His entrance starts with Shane Douglas's face and music. Don West laughs and they try not to talk about how they just spoiled their own reveal. The producers of this episode need a punch to the gut. Don West asked today who he thinks Shane Douglas was talking to earlier. Wow, this is embarrassing. It's hard to focus on the match with all this silliness, but this should be a good one. Chris Sabin gets the first two off in Northern Lights. AJ Styles is shown shaking in a dark cupboard. Presumably he's been kidnapped. Ugh, Shane Douglas is here, scouting. This is so stupid. Despite the lack of crack, Daniels is dominating. He misses the BME but lands on his feet and flips out the ring to take out Michael Shane. For some reason, he tries an angel's wings on the ramp when Sabin crashes into him. Sabin hits the cradle shock on Daniels, but the pin is broken up by Shane dragging the referee. Sabin brings him into the ring and he blocks the superkick and almost rolls him up for a 2. Sabin now have a beautiful springboard DDT. Michael Shane gets his foot on the rope. Shane shoves the referee into Sabin, and when he turns around, it's sweet chin music which connects. Michael Shane is the winner. Talking of crack, James Mitchell is in the back with the Slash Man, who has a new look. Mitchell says he's tired of Raven trying to kill him. He accuses Raven of doing something to him before the TNA days. He doesn't reveal what this thing was. Instead, he says Raven has a spot waiting for him in hell because the Slash Man will send him there in this dog collar match tonight. In the ring, Mike today wants to address the rumours about Hulk Hogan in TNA and brings out Hogan's manager Jimmy Hart. Today asks Hart if Hogan has signed with TNA. Hart says he has signed. What a load of rubbish. But at the same time, Hogan won't face Jarrett on the first ever TNA pay-per-view as he's hurt his knee and he has to have an operation. It all ends with Slappy beating up Jimmy Hart. In the back, the gifted Glenn Gilberti says he's rewarding the New York Numpties with massages from Thai girls. He says he isn't done tonight and has a surprise for America's Most Wanted. He brings the Naturals forward and says they will take out the Cowboys. The cab driver is repeating everything that Gilberti says, like that one Stone Cold Vince McMahon promo from the Invasion times. That was weird. Dog collar match now between the Slash Man and the man called Raisin. I hate dog collar matches. Raisin is winning, so Mitchell boots him in the nutsack. It's not enough though, because as expected, Raisin wins with the Raisin effect. Raven gets his hand on James Mitchell before the Vampiro saves him. The Gathering save Raven from a beatdown, but Raisin doesn't seem happy to have their help. In the back, Don Callis is told that now Russo is gone, the door is finally open for Roddy Piper to return to TNA. Don Callis says that won't happen because nobody asked to see an idiot in a kilt. Hudson asked him why he got rid of Jerry Lynn and D'Lo Brown. He says D'Lo Brown is actually back and they pull out a bobblehead doll and play with it. Hudson says it's interesting that Goldilocks has also returned to TNA. The Naturals make their way out now, led by the gifted Glenn Gilberti. They are the team of Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens and they've been wrestling on Explosion recently. They take on America's Most Wanted, and we start with a big brawl on the ramp. The match is going on really nicely, but of course Disco gets involved, and that leads to the Naturals winning. Eric Watts forces the match to restart. Chase Stevens continues to cheat with a tennis racket. He turns around into a super kick, but Disco drags the referee out. This match is a real mess. The cab driver and Eric Watts are brawling. Chris Harris wins with a crossbody. Could have been good, but instead it was a complete mess. Eric Watts gets his hands on Disco before the red shirt security come to his aid. Then one of the Harris twins makes the save. We have about 10 people in the ring. He cleans house and the Harris twin is everybody's hero. Gotta love the placement of the young ladies behind the commentators. Raven climbs onto the commentary desk. He talks about dog collar matches from history. He promises that next week he will take out Vampiro to get his hands on James Mitchell. It'll be a Dream Blood Gallows of Retribution match. What? It will basically be a match where you have to hang your opponent until they're unconscious. Thanks for coming, Raven. In the back, it's an interview with the world champion. He seems like he's all business. Hudson asks him why he hasn't visited Russo in hospital. AJ is annoyed that Russo was stupid last week and had a fight with Jarrett. AJ says he'll show Jeff why he's phenomenal. The Don't Look at My Ass crew run up and ask what the deal is. They tell AJ that they've got his back, but AJ tells them to stay out of his way. It's a very heated start to the match. Eric Watts has to come to the ring to calm everybody down. AJ smacks Slappy down, he looks really confused. AJ continues doing well with the first two off a springboard crossbody. They brawl on the outside of the ring and into the crowd they go. And you know why that is, don't you? Because every Jeff Jarrett match must have crowd brawling. AJ hits a crazy flip dive out the ring and over the rail. He tries to bring him back into the match, which is stopped by Jarrett. Good match so far. Jarrett decapitates Styles off a clothesline. Nice spinning back suplex for Slapnuts. Wrestlers are all shown watching this big main event. AJ reverses a powerbomb into a pin, but instead tries the Styles Clash. Jarrett blocks that and smashes him with his knee. Big enziguri kick from Styles for a double down. When they get up, it's all Styles with a sort of powerbomb. We're seeing moves that we don't normally associate with either wrestler. Bit of a botch now. Jarrett throws Styles into the corner, who tries to come back with his flip over, but he gets stuck on Jarrett. Luckily Styles is good and he turns it into a German suplex instead. Now they're fighting on the top rope. Damn, Jarrett hits a TKO from the top rope. I don't remember seeing him do that before. This match is refreshing. That's a 2 for Jarrett. Jarrett blocks a spin kick and does a nice leg sweep into the figure 4. Oh no, here comes Siaki. Eric Watts won't let Siaki through though. The Dream appears and he smashes Siaki with an elbow. During that ruckus, AJ escapes the figure 4. Jeff Jarrett grabs a chair with the ref distracted. He smacks Styles on the head and the ref turns around to count, but it's just a 2. It's weird that Jarrett and Styles have switched between heel and face without really doing much during this match. AJ has the chair set up, the ref just stares at it. Styles traps Jarrett's head and he climbs up but misses his leg drop. AJ misses another kick and there's the stroke into the steel chair. What? How does AJ kick out of that? That's a bit silly. Jarrett grabs the title belt now. For some reason, Watts takes exception to him using the belt. They were just using a chair. AJ almost rolls him up. More distractions and Jarrett hits AJ with the belt. That's the 3. Why did the ref need to be distracted? What a mess. This was so good, but then every single match tonight has been ruined with so much dumb stuff happens. Presumably they wanted Slappy as champion in case Hogan signed for TNA and then they could have an epic Bash at the Beach match again. Jarrett cuts a promo saying he's taking care of everybody in TNA. Don Callis is celebrating. Since when were they teammates? Jimmy Hart is screaming somewhere. The camera really struggles to find him. It's so jarring hearing his screaming voice but not being able to see him. They eventually find him on a video screen. Hart claims that as revenge for the beating earlier in the night, he'll bring somebody to TNA to beat up Jeff Jarrett. That's that. Typical TNA, incredible action which is ruined by constant dumb moments. They were having a 5-star match there and they ruined it. That one should have gone down in history. Let's check out the next episode. Jimmy Hart is stood by a limo, refusing to reveal who's inside the limo. He teases opening the door for a few minutes, but ultimately he's going to make Slapnuts wait for his surprise. The opening contest is the gifted Glenn Gilberti and the master of the cab driver Slam teaming up. They'll take on America's Most Wanted. It feels like these guys lose every match. Young and Storm keep doing flips over each other. They prove to be completely even and have a standoff. It's not really 2 guys you normally see fighting. Gilberti tells the cabbie that wasn't good enough. He walks into a drop toe hold and Harris is in. They smash the cabbie of double team moves for a 2. Harris then hits a delayed 10-second suplex to the cab driver. More double teaming from America's Most Wanted. Gilberti pulls his own tag team partner out the ring and yells at him. The cabbie can't make it back into the ring as Storm dives down on them and Harris does the same. Gilberti hits Harris in the back with a tennis racket to finally turn the match. Now Gilberti is happy to join the match. For some reason his offense all looks really silly. David Young misses a splash as the ring almost implodes. He's not done though. He reverses the catatonic and there it is. The cab driver slam. The cab driver slam is over. No, it's not because Gilberti refuses to make the tag. Storm drop kicks Young and waits for the tag. He gets it. Storm snaps off the Hurricanrana and super kicks the cabbie. Gilberti breaks the pin up but soon regrets it as Storm beats him around the ring. Storm hits a power slam and the ref refuses to count because Gilberti isn't legal. Harris returns and gets rid of Disco. Storm puts the cabbie in the sharpshooter. Disco distracts the ref and hits Storm with a tennis racket. When the ref turns around, it's just a 2. Young has the tennis racket now and he swings and misses as Harris hits a spear. Gilberti is in the ring and hits the chart topper and also takes out Storm. He's unable to hit the Village People elbow and runs into a super kick. America's Most Wanted beat David Young with a heart attack and the death sentence. A decent match, which was weirdly booked. Why did Disco refuse to have the tag after Young hit his finisher? Surely that would be the perfect time to tag in. Chris Harris on the microphone demands a tag title shot next week. In the back, Shawn Michaels' cousin Michael Shane is screaming that he's facing Sanjay Dutt in a non-title match. He says he was advised not to put the title on the line. Instead, he says there should be a tournament to decide his next opponent. They still don't acknowledge Shane Douglas. That match is now. 2 quick pinning attempts from Sanjay Dutt. It's all Sanjay. He's not doing anything insane like the last match though. It's still hard to believe he was only 2 years into his wrestling career at this point. He's a guy who probably came along a bit too soon. Finally, the match turns when Sanjay tries to skin the cat, but instead he's speared to the floor. Shane slowly climbs to the top, but unsurprisingly, Dutt drop kicks him and hits a big flip dive out of the ring. He also hits a crazy springing elbow drop. This guy has some mad hops. Unfortunately for him, he misses the Hindu press and Michael Shane rolls him up. Are you guys impressed by Michael Shane? I'm not really sure what he does. He just seems to win. Maybe that's the point. Is his only move the super kick? In the back, Dusty Rhodes refuses to speculate on who's in Jimmy Hart's limo. He also says Jarrett must be lonely as champion. Why would he be lonely? He always has loads of people around him. Apparently, Booker T has been asking Dusty Rhodes why Jarrett did what he did at Bash at the Beach. I'm so confused, this promo was all over the place. The red shirt security are here. Oh, hello, best cage dancer yet if you ask me. They'll be taking on Eric Watts and a Harris twin. How exciting. No, it's not. I'd rather stare at that cage dancer for the next 10 minutes. Eric Watts starts with a hip toss and a dropkick. The Harris twin has the tag and he boots Northcutt in the ribs. Don't you just love storylines about feuding security teams? He lands a bunch of corner clotheslines and a double team elbow of Eric Watts. The Terminator eventually takes a cheap shot and drags Watts out. Northcutt has to awkwardly delay his leg drop. There's the pump handle suplex from Northcutt. He drop toe holds Watts onto the ropes. You know, I didn't realise that this Kevin Northcutt came from the WCW power plan. I've also noticed they're really limiting the Terminator's ring time. Goldilocks attacks Don Callis because she's the one dating Eric Watts. Callis throws handcuffs to Northcutt, but he can't use them and he's rolled up by the Harris twin. Why is this guy getting such a big push? The red shirts are bad losers and kill the Harris twin. Watts comes back in with big boots. He almost takes out Callis, but the red shirts stop him. Watts is killed with a really bad looking spike pile driver. I'm not sure what's going on here. More Hogan stuff. Skip. Jarrett eventually calls out Jimmy Hart, but instead he gets hair-gelled Styles. AJ asks for a title rematch. Jarrett says he's fallen to the bottom of the barrel and tells him to go back to the X Division. AJ says the X Division is no joke and put the company on the map. AJ says he made the division. X marks the spot and Jarrett is stood in the spot. The red shirt security aggressively stop AJ Styles. Don Callis is on the mic and he tells AJ Styles he isn't booked on the card so he can go home. It looks so funny as he's dragged away. Jarrett goes back to calling out Jimmy Hart. Now he gets Dusty Rhodes, who also asks for a title shot. Jarrett smacks his hat off and tells Mike Tenay to get Dusty out of the ring. Tenay isn't security, how is he supposed to do that? Tenay shakes his head with anger. The segment ends. A waste of time. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. It's Glenn Gilberti again. How many segments will I have to sit through? The New York numpties say they want to face America's Most Wanted for the title. Disco calls over Sonny, don't look at my ass Siaki. He asks if Siaki can take out AMW. He says maybe later, he has a match now. Trinity, Siaki and Umaga make the way out. I miss when Siaki was like The Rock. They'll be facing Doring and Roadkill. Doring takes out Siaki with a nice flurry of offense. Eventually his head scissors is reversed into a side slam. Roadkill makes a blind tag and nails a big front slam and an elbow drop. This might not last long. Power slam now, straight into the panty drop leg drop. Siaki bails from the ring. He catches Doring's diving hurricanrana and bashes his head into the steps. I felt that one. Umaga is legal and he squashes Doring. Roadkill has to break the pin up. Oh no, Gilberti is here again. Why? He's nagging Siaki and Trinity for their help. Umaga gets a 2 off a leg drop. Siaki and Umaga nail a big double team slam. It's really not going well for Doring. He gets a Siaki suplex into the corner now. Umaga misses his splash and in comes the big man. He side slams Siaki and squashes the Samoan in the corner. Big jumping jawbreaker from Doring, but he's forgotten about Umaga who hits the Samoan drop, which I'm okay with. Roadkill takes him down with a springboard shoulder block. He can't hit the splash as Siaki shoves him. Umaga kips up off the mat now and super kicks Roadkill. There's the top rope splash for the 3. Disco climbs into the ring to try and encourage the Don't Look at My Ass club. Siaki says next week he will do it. He will take out America's Most Wanted, and Trinity doesn't agree with that decision as she storms off. Out now, it's known dickhead Kid Cash. He's actually taken on Abyss. Surprised this is happening already. I thought it would have a little bit more build up. It'll be a first blood chair on a pole match. Why on a pole? I have absolutely no idea. Cash kicks him in the nutsack, but he's still unable to take the chair down. Abyss kills Cash and he throws him into the lights. Abyss tries a goofy looking splash from the middle rope, but he can't land it. Cash hits the springboard flipping dropkick. I love that move. Cash has now retrieved the chair. He can't hit Abyss with the chair and it's punched into his face. Abyss gets the chair set up in the corner. Cash is soon slingshotted into that chair. Cash manages to block the next move with a chair to the nutsack, and there's the smash mouth from Kid Cash. He also does a Sabu-inspired dive out of the ring. Cash looks for a top rope dive now, but lovely foreshadowing from Abyss as he waits with his hand patiently on the chair, and of course he blocks Cash's dive with it. Once again the chair is set up in the corner. Cash dodges him in the corner as Abyss goes headfirst into the chair. He isn't hurt and he black hole slams Kid Cash. Someone is bleeding, everybody is confused. Abyss hits Cash over the head with the chair. Suddenly they've realised that Abyss is bleeding. Kid Cash wins. To be fair, it was good, and it makes you want to see Abyss kill Kid Cash even more. Abyss is a bad loser and he throws the chair at Cash. He also hits a backbreaker on the ref. He completely snaps and kills the security team. This is when Abyss was better. He wasn't doing goofy mannerisms or faces. He's not crying, he's just a monster. Yay, it's Shane Douglas. He has apparently recruited a woman. Douglas says the woman doesn't deserve camera time. I didn't know Shawn Michaels' cousin had boobs. James Mitchell is here, Vampiro. He's been very low-key in TNA. Mitchell says he hasn't slept in 3 days because Raven keeps prank calling him talking about Dream Blood. Vampiro will face Raven tonight in a hanging match. That match is now. Would have been nice to hear from Vamp. Why does he look like the Hamburglar? Raven looks like he ate the Hamburglar. Who's ready to watch a garbage match? Not me. Don West makes fun of the fact that nobody knows the proper name of this match. Raven powerbombs Vamp, but you can't put the collar around his neck. Now he drop toe holds Vamp into the chair. He does manage to collar Vampiro, and Raven starts hanging him, but he manages to escape it with a low blow from James Mitchell. Vamp boots a chair into Raven's face. He also hits a big wacky spin kick from the top. Vampiro wraps a chain around his own head and headbutts Raven. I'm not even sure if that makes sense. Vamp steals the Raven effect and he collars Raven. Raven is hung over the ropes. He bravely refuses to pass out and he keeps struggling. After a long struggle, he manages to drag himself to the apron and frees himself. Raven battles back. He puts 2 dog collars on Vamp and fetches a trash can. Vamp falls down after 3 shots to the head. Now Raven fetches a table. He hits a terrible looking DDT off the top rope into the table. Clearly Raven took all of that impact. Raven wins the match by hanging Vampiro with James Mitchell watching on. Not sure why he didn't stop Raven this time, it doesn't even make sense. He stopped him earlier? Oh. Mitchell climbs into the ring and tries to throw a fireball at Raven, which misses. Everybody bells. CM Punk is in the ring. Raven begs CM Punk to leave him alone. He says now he's taken out James Mitchell, he will get him in a one-on-one last man standing match. Don't you just love how the manager is the final hurdle in that feud? All that's left now is Slapnuts facing Jimmy Hart's Mystery Man. Hart says this man has heart and he has desire, and it's Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The crowd sound annoyed. Hacksaw says he's loyal to Hulk Hogan. The highlight is Jim Duggan using a pumpkin as a weapon. Duggan nails a chokeslam. Jarrett no-sells it. Duggan gets distracted by his stick. Callis stops Duggan from using the stick. When he turns around, Jarrett's got a guitar waiting for him. That's the 3. Broke 10,000 guitars and never drew a dime. Jarrett calls out Hogan. Jimmy Hart isn't done and Rick Steiner is in the ring behind Jarrett. It's just crowd brawling because every Jeff Jarrett match must have crowd brawling. Somehow Rick Steiner lasts less time than Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Then there's a ref bump. Somehow Jarrett has another guitar and he smacks Steiner. The bell is rung, so why was the ref bumped? Jimmy Hart is back and he announces that next week Sting will face Jarrett. Jarrett dumps in his nappy of fear and the show ends. Way too much Glenn Gilberti. He really isn't that gifted. Ultimately, there isn't many wrestlers to get excited about, and that might be the biggest problem on this show. I find myself looking forward to Kid Cash and Abyss, and that's the gist, and if you don't agree with that, I'll give your head a twist.